My dad was in the World War II for 5 years. And when he got out, the GI Bill paid enough for him to become a veterinarian. That's how that happened. And so we started life. I was born in Circoxie, Carthage actually, but I lived in Circoxie. And he really loved his Army years. He was in the Aleutian Islands in Alaska. And he trained an eagle. Trained a young eagle. And got him to fly onto his shoulder. And so he loved animals. And so that was a neat memory that he had for us. And then my mom was a school teacher. She taught 5th grade. When Chad was little, he was blonde, white-headed, and he loved outdoors. So he would climb the mulberry tree and just eat them like crazy. And then we had some blackberries out here too, and he loved picking those. One time I went to see why he wasn't up from his nap and he was not there. And I panicked and went outside and he was just eating berries that was Chad, and he loved that kind of thing. So Chad is 42 now, almost 43, and he was the little blondie, and he and his dad constructed their first computer at age 9. Yeah, because there weren't any that we could afford to buy, so they made one, and that has served him well all these years. So he does that. Let's see what else. I remember him purple stained a lot because of the mulberries at that time of year. He's married to Rebecca, and he has 2 boys, Karsten, who's almost 7, and Alistair, who just turned 5 on Easter. So they're a lot of fun to be close by us. The others are all in Indiana. So Jody is our second born. He was a little Indian looking baby, actually a beautiful baby, dark. And he's lots of fun. One of my memories of him was at the top of the old stairs before we lost our home to fire. At the top of the stairs was a children's wardrobe, and I would set all of his teddy bears on there because that's what he collected. And one time he crawled up to be a bear and sat amongst the bears and was so silent, I came upstairs going, "Jody, where are you?" And he just was silent. Finally, I started giggling because I noticed his foot wiggle. And so that's a Jody story. But Jody started violin at age 4. And now he's pretty much laid that down for guitar because he leads worship and needs the guitar. they have their 7th child on the way. So that's pretty special. His wife is named Jenna Ostendorf, and she's Jenna Killingsworth now. And in December will be their 7th child, if all goes well. And they've got, he brought us our first 2 grandchildren. Paloma is 11, and Livy, Olivette, turns 10 today. So, and then the rest are boys. So, 4 boys after that, though. Jody has 4 sons after the 2 girls, and all of his children have unusual names, biblical names, but still unusual biblical names. He's got Paloma, which really means dove, but he found that name when he was getting his master's in England. There was a girl playing violin that he loved her name. And so Paloma's who named me Gigi, the big G right here. And she couldn't say Grammy, so it became Gigi, and everybody's followed. The oldest one, of course. Paloma and Olivette are 11 and 10. Samson is 7. Lazarus is 5. Ambrose is 3. And Magnus is 1. And December is Ott, baby. And then there's Katie, our 3rd born, and she's married to Nate Crum. And Nate comes from a family of 11. 10 of them boys. They have 4 children. Ezra's 7. Abigail's 5. Matthias is 3. And Eve has my name. Eve Valerie Eliza. She turns 1 next week. And then in 2001, Lonnie felt led to take 2 foster boys, Fred and Troy, into our home. And they were pretty wild, but a lot of fun too. Fred just married Miranda a few weeks ago, and they came into marriage with Fred already having a daughter, Ariel, that we don't get to see. And they have a new baby due on December 25th, Christmas Day. Troy and Anna came into marriage with Anna having Brooklyn. So she's a sweet little girl that we have embraced into our family. And then they've had Thaddeus, and he is 1.5. And they have a new baby due in July. My sister, her name is Christy, and she's married to Tom, and they have 4 children. We spent a lot of time with them too, going back and forth there, and she will always be very dear to me. And then on the Killingsworth side, well, I met Lonnie in high school, and so we started dating when we were seniors, and that was very special. But we were very young. We married at 19 and 20. My older mentor, best friend is Grandma. She's a jewel, and love her to pieces. as the whole clan does. You know, she's just something else. And then all of the siblings, there's 4 boys, and they're all very special and unique in their own way. But I'm crazy about all of them. And I would say just continue doing what you're doing, taking care of the clan in so many neat ways. Grandpa Lon will always be special memory for all of us. You can't find a better man than he was. He's gentle giant. One of my favorite verses is, "I have no greater joy than to find that my children walk in truth." And that's something I just greatly desire for my children. And to know that they walk in truth and walk with the Lord and serve Him all their days. Yeah, I'm proud of each one of them and want them to just follow the Lord and get to know His Word by reading it and studying it, and let Him speak to them. Awesome.
Is there anything you'd like to say to Lonnie or anything?
Well, he's a treasure. Very much so, and has taken care of me in the last 3 years beautifully. It's unbelievable how much he's done. But he does take care of me and watches over me and guides my choices so that I've had 2 falls since the cancer started, and he's been there to help me through those. Yeah, I just love him. And not really ready to end my time with him. That's the hardest, I think, is the marriage relationship. He's just really a cherished treasure, is what I would call him. Well, he serves our family amazing. So he's a server. I'd say that's his spiritual gift, serving. And he's gentle and kind and doesn't ask for much for himself. He just is just a old soul. Yeah, that I love watching how he takes care of his mother. He's always available to her. And he treated my parents, he brought them into our home to live the last years with us instead of sending them to a nursing home, which was very special. And he treated them so wonderful. And they bragged on him all the time, and it was well deserved. He's been a good lover. He's been a good friend. best of both. And probably better not talk about this anymore. So, my blog is under Caring Bridge, which is for health needs. And it started out to be for me, and still is. It helps me to write. I do better than speaking, but yeah, people have followed. It's had several thousand hits, and I don't even know who the people are, but I appreciate, because they come alongside and pray, and that's what we need the most. But yes, I started that blog right after I found out I got cancer. Jody's pastor's wife came to him and said, "Would you ask your mom if she would begin a Caring Bridge?" And I didn't even know what that was. So we did. And when I feel impressed or I get different news, I write. Sometimes it's a month in between. Sometimes it's just days in between. But I just write, and I hope it leaves a legacy for my family. Some don't even read it, but some do. And so but like I said, most of it is for me and my children, to know a little bit of what's coming. One of the books that Jenna has read to the kids, they're reading, because she's got the oldest ones, and so they have more of an understanding of what's going on, but Little Pilgrim's Progress. And the day the news came that I probably only had 3 months left, she was reading a chapter, and it was a little Christian made it up to the cross, and he was summoned to heaven. And that was hard for him to grasp, but they also realized it helped him a lot to see that we all have our day, we're summoned, and nothing we can do about that. That's what God wants, and so that's what I want. As hard as that is to say, it really is what I want. One of our favorite vacations was Disney World. And we pulled my parents' RV all the way to Florida and parked it and stayed there and went for I don't know how many days, but a few days too, and it was really something. We lost Jody in the middle of that vacation, but we found him, and he really wanted to go off like Chad did. He wanted to do that same thing, only he got lost. So, but we had a great time. I do remember Jody does not like roller coasters of any kind. But we talked him into doing a children's one, and he turned around in the middle and said, "I told you I don't like these." So he didn't do so well on that one. But everything else was great, and so we had a good time on that. Most of our vacations were backpacking and going into the mountains and fields, and we did that a lot with your family. And it was great memories of that. Alaska one was our 40th anniversary trip, and we went on a cruise. And saw all the great sea life, and it was pretty spectacular. And let's see, what else did we do on the Alaska one? Well, it was our first cruise. We've only been on one. And so that was pretty neat. We had a 40th anniversary down at Rebecca's house before they moved in. And then we went on the cruise that next week. So it was pretty fun. And well, we really had very good weather. We went in August, and it was starting to get cold, but it hadn't yet. And let's see, that would have been 6 years ago. It was really fun.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
My favorite holiday is probably Christmas. Yeah, that's probably my favorite. And starts at Grandma's, and then growing up, it included my parents' house, and my sister would come. I come from a family of 4, and my sister and I are very close. And so that was a time that they came to Springfield, and we had Christmas, and it was fun. And we have stayed close all these years, very much so. And let's see. Another fun memory is our annual float trips that we took, and they were so fun. And it would take a lot to get ready for one. All the food that had to be packed just right, and coolers. But oh, the memories. Floating the Buffalo River was just super. And you all still go on some of them as a family. But we all, as a clan, went. As many as could do it 2 years ago. And it was pretty chilly, but it was fun. Yeah, there's nothing like floating. And then we'd make those, I thought they were good meals. Big meals. And yeah, some years they all had their own look. You know, we did it differently. One year we went, and there was not enough water. And that was awful. Dragging those canoes, those poor dads. Yeah, that was a year to remember. But we went too late. It was close to July. And that's why that was like that. But, it's been a fun life. A very special life. But not very many people get a life like this. And so that's, how can I really be sad when God's ending mine, what many call soon? It won't be one day sooner or one day later than God's planned. And so I look forward to heaven. I mean, it's got to be something else. And so that, it's kind of, you can't think about leaving without being sad. And you can't help but thinking about heaven and being so glad. It's just, amazing, really. And I think I use that word too much, but it is going to be. And I'll get to see Grandpa. Maybe first out of the clan. You never know, but maybe. And my parents. So it's hard to think about heaven the same after you read Randy Alcorn's book, Heaven. And I read his devotional book, 50 Days, 30 Days of Heaven. And it's really opens your eyes to how much the scriptures talk about heaven. And even verses you wouldn't pick up on, he shows how it could be. So that's really neat. Oh. A lot of people say to me, God wouldn't take you, like I'm too good. And it's just not how God works at all. He has a plan for each of us and knows the number of our days, and it's nothing I deserve or nothing I am being punished for. It's just God's order. I hope he teaches the church how to suffer well through my life. That's what I really want. And so, because I don't think churches look at suffering. It's like God is good only when he's good in our eyes. And that's not true. God's good all the time, and nothing good will he withhold from them that walk upright. So that's my desire very much. And I appreciate you all allowing me to share that. And let's see, is there anything else? I would tell each child, give it all you've got. You don't know what God's got for you down the road, but give it all you've got. And you've got some wonderful siblings. And cousins, and aunts and uncles. We just are kind of all wrapped up out here in Walnut Grove, and even those that don't live here are wrapped up in Walnut Grove. You know, it's pretty neat.
So good. That was awesome.
It's just who I am. I don't know how to do these things
No,
very well, but
it was so good. That was awesome. Sorry it wasn't much help in some of those. Oh goodness.
it's okay.
Goodness, that was so good. Love you so much.
I know you do, and I love you so much.
Thanks for doing that.
And I'll adopt you too, Colby.